It was a moment many here thought might never happen. The families of 6 firefighters making a poignant walk to their gravesides to mark 80 years since the region's biggest loss of life in the Second World War. COVID restrictions meant the ceremony had to be carefully planned, but this was a chance to revisit some remarkable stories of how and why the events of April the 22nd have come to mean so much.
My father's brother, Uncle John, was the youngest of 4 boys. They were farmers here in Saltash, and Uncle John was not allowed to go to war because it was a reserved occupation. He was told he had to stay home on the farm, and sadly he lost his life, and ironically his 3 older brothers who did go to war all survived.
With Plymouth reeling from a night of heavy bombing, the 6 volunteer firefighters crossed the Tamar to help the rescue effort. Their vehicle went over an unexploded device in Devonport, and they were all killed. 32-year-old laundry driver Leslie Tibbs was among the crew. His niece Heather is a keen historian and says she feels a special connection to what happened.
You try to put yourselves in their shoes, and it's very difficult because we can never quite do that. My father used to talk about it. My father was in the Air Force at the time, and he came home on compassionate leave. He arrived outside the station and they were held out there for several hours. It was the 3rd night of that particular blitz, and then he had to walk all the way to Ernestsettle, passing all the ruins, etc. And my father's described that so many times.
Outside the church, a genuine Second World War fire engine stood guard, with present-day firefighters dressed appropriately in 1940s uniforms. They even gave us a demonstration of a vintage siren. You don't hear many of those round here these days.
One thing that we must always do is recognise past and present commitment that our on-call and indeed whole-time firefighters provide for their communities. So, what we must always do is remember those people that indeed gave their lives to allow others to live theirs.
Many hundreds of lives were lost in the region during the Blitz years. The fact that these 6 men still mean so much to this community is a sure sign that they will never be forgotten. Sam Blackledge, ITV News, Saltash.